Welcome back to Deer Valley Homestead. It's been just over a year since we first set eyes on what was to become Deer Valley Wine Lodge, and myself and Beata have been working hard ever since. Our main goal for this year is to make wine. We don't expect to make the best wine or to make a great quantity. We just really want to go through the process, see what equipment we have and what we think we will need in the future, and just to gain that little bit of knowledge that should help us avoid some of the mistakes in the future when we try to produce larger amounts. If we even end up with 50 litres of wine, I will count it as a huge success. This week we are going to show you everything to do with winemaking that we have done in the first year. We're going to show you how we renovated the vineyard all the way up to our first grape harvest. Next week we will take a look at making our first wine. Just a little bit over a year ago, as we were driving home, we drove past a small house in the village. We'd driven past it hundreds of times and never really given it a second look, other than to know that it had been abandoned for a while. But on this occasion, what caught our attention was that there was now a for sale sign and a phone number attached to the front gate. We had been looking for a second property, either to move into full-time or as an investment, for just over 3 years. And in that time, we had probably looked at over 60 properties. For whatever reason, we just couldn't find what we wanted, and there was always an overhead power cable, a road that cut across the property, or issues with access. We decided to have a look at the small house in the village, mostly out of curiosity. It's very rare for something to come up for sale in our village. There are less than 20 houses, and most of them are generational homes. That's to say, they've been passed down through the generations for years and years, from great-grandparents to grandparents to the current owners, and probably in the future to the children. Anyway, we arranged to have a look and quickly discovered just how much work would be involved in the property. It had been empty for at least 10 years, and the blackberries in particular had taken over. From the road, as we were driving past, we had never really seen much of the garden, and didn't actually know that there was a vineyard there. Once we started to have a look around, I fell in love with the house and barn, and the small wine cellar, and Beata fell in love with the fruit trees and the vineyard. We're very lucky to live in an area that has a rich history of self-sustainability, and most properties around here have some mature fruit trees, a couple of vines, and some fruit bushes. Neither myself or Beata are big drinkers. We do, however, enjoy a glass of wine at least once a week, and the idea of being able to drink our own wine is pretty appealing. So we set to work restoring the land before we even thought about touching the house. We cleared huge amounts of brambles, trees, overgrown grass, and just about every kind of plant possible. While doing this, we set to work on the vineyard, and we were very fortunate in that we had the help of my dad and Beata's 2 sisters, Terry and Romana. And while we just about managed to get most of the work done, clearing the bramble and repairing the vineyard supports, and get some of the vines pruned just in time for the growing season. During the growing season, there really wasn't much to do, and I suspect there's probably more that we should have done. I really just kept the grass down by mowing, and we pruned once. Of course, none of us are experts in pruning grapes, and I'm sure we made a lot of mistakes. We just had a good look around on YouTube and took some advice from my dad and set to work. We also attached these fabric strips, which have some kind of predatory mite in there, which apparently will kill another kind of mite, which is a problem in vineyards in the area. Well, it is currently day 7, day 8, I'm not sure, I've lost track of the vineyard restoration, and we are getting there. My dad came out, he has trimmed all of the vines for us, or pruned, or whatever the correct word is. Beata and her sister have painted all of these posts. All that is left to do is for me to make the rest of these posts nice and straight and put the new wooden tops on. Wow. And all I'm doing is taking off the old wood, where there is even old wood. A lot of it has fallen off already. And I'm putting some new wood up and trying to straighten the posts at the same time. To do that, all I'm doing is putting a new piece of wood on top, putting a wire diagonally across, and then tightening that wire up until the posts are nearly level. Now, as we approach autumn, the grapes are ready and we have harvested them. You will see us harvesting two types of grape here. The locals call the red grape Italian, and the white grape we still have no idea. If you happen to be an expert in vines and can identify what type they are, please drop it in the comments down below. The red grapes are actually from the vine at our first property where we currently live. We believe it to be over 100 years old, and we've discovered that the more of it we cut back, and the more aggressively we cut it back, the more grapes it produces. We hope to get it up on some wires in the not too distant future. That said, we did possibly have the longest, driest summer on record. For just over 3 months it was 30 degrees and above, and sunny every day. In fact, in that time we had less than a centimetre of rain, and possibly, if I'm being picky, one day that was a little bit cloudy.
Did you go far? I don't know. 30 cuts.
Just getting the arms. The white grapes are from the vines in the vineyard and the new house. I do wonder sometimes if calling it a vineyard is the correct thing to do. In total, there is around 100 meters of wires and grapes. Nymeria, what are you doing? Alright, well, I've found myself just about the shadiest spot that I can. Got myself power, water and a pressure washer, and I'm going to put all the stuff here and see what I can get clean. I don't think I'm going to get it perfect today, but if I can get 90% of it off when I do give it a real proper scrub, it'll be a lot easier. A big part of our journey into making wine has been trying to use everything that was already on the property. It's not a project we want to spend a huge amount of money on, but are quite happy to spend some time on. So far, we've bought a couple of plastic barrels, some lengths of wood for the top of the vines, some wire, some paint, and that's about it. In total, I would have to guess we've spent around €300 or less on this project. Of course, that doesn't include the cost of buying the property. The grape crusher and fruit press were both in a very dirty and neglected condition. I first took them both out and pressure washed them. Alright, so there we have it. Everything is clean. We at least know what we have now. The fruit press looks really cool. That cast iron bit that you just saw me washing must be the best part of 50 kilos. That thing is monstrous. These barrels have cleaned up okay. I mean, I don't know what's inside them still, but you know, we're working on it. We've got our two big baths, and we've got our grape crusher, hand-powered grape crusher. So that's what we have. I'm going to go and do a bunch of research, see what we need. Alright, I'm in the wine house. Well, the top of the wine house is the wine cellar downstairs. Literally, we're on top of it. But apart from this, which is obviously going to hold one of those big barrels, there is this, and I think this might be the top of the fruit press, huh? Alright, I'm afraid you'll have to excuse the crazy guineas. They are busy making noise today. So I've decided this is going to be the first piece that I'm going to work on. And I'm doing this piece first for a very specific reason. That is that the inside is going to be painted white. And it's a special food safe paint. I need to do 2 coats of undercoat and 2 coats of top coat. This is the undercoat. It's a polyurethane 2-part paint, and this is the top coat. That is going to be the big time-consuming part of the project because of how long I need to leave in between coats. So today I'm going to focus on getting this part clean and ready for paint, and if I'm lucky I'll get some paint on here today. Before bringing them back to the workshop, cleaning them up as best I could, grinding down some of the old layers of paint and repainting them. The fruit press is cast iron and must weigh at least 60 kilos. I hate to think what something like this would cost new, but I have since seen this fruit press advertised on Facebook Marketplace for as little as €40. It seems there is just an excess of them from past times when people were much more dependent on the land around them. For the bases, I just used a normal metal paint, but anywhere that would be in contact with the grapes or fruit of any kind has been painted with a food safe polyurethane. I'm very excited that after putting so much work into this equipment, we will soon be able to use it for the first time, and hopefully for many more years to come. We are very lucky in that we have a couple of neighbours who also make wine, and while sometimes it can be difficult to navigate your own path through strong advice, we have been very grateful for the knowledge freely given and the occasional beers shared. And of course, if you let one coat of paint dry before applying the next one, you won't run into any problems like I did. We're not aiming to make 1200 litres this year, we just want to make some wine with the idea that we're just learning, you know? There's no point trying with a 1200 litre batch and turning it into rubbish. So we might try with 50 or 100 litres, 200 litres, whatever it is, and see where we end up. If you enjoyed this video, in the coming weeks, one of our videos will be focusing on making wine for the first time, and we will go from the harvest to the barrel. Currently the grapes are fermenting in a large plastic container, and tomorrow the plan is to put them through the fruit press and into a wooden barrel. Another upcoming project will of course be the restoration of the wine cellar. The first part of that is going to be removing all the old wine that has sat down there for the last 10 years. One of our neighbours was kind enough to test it for us, and we'll go through that in another video, but for now what I can say is that there's 300 litres of wine that's been down there at least 10 years, and the plan is to turn it into brandy. This may well be a lifetime supply of brandy for myself and Beata. As always, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're interested in any of these upcoming videos, hit the like button and leave a comment down below. Being that we are such a small channel, we answer nearly all of the comments and would really appreciate your help. I hope you have a great week, and we will catch you soon.